Indiana Jones, It's a podcast about Indiana Jones. Every movie, 1 minute at a time. The Indiana Jones Minute.
Welcome back to the Indiana Jones Minute. This is the podcast where we decide whether or not we should cross the threshold of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade 1 minute at a time. I'm Pete Mummert.
Shouldn't we have decided that like 117 minutes ago or something?
Like 450 episodes ago.
Yeah. I'm Tom Taylor.
I'm Gerald Christopher, St. John the Long-Suffering. Patron saint of those suffering from lust and sexual temptation.
Oh.
Well, I think he's perfect for this minute because we have a lot of lust, or at least greed. Like lust, I don't know, it kind of takes the form. It's like greedy lust.
Uh-huh. Sure.
In this minute. But I also would like to give a shout out to Saint Moses the Ethiopian, who also had the same perverse curse for the worse. Porter.
I'm still trying to parse that.
Yeah. I like kind of half followed.
Oh, you gotta be quick here. You gotta be quick. No, it's good. You know, it's a sort of these guys. They're a bunch of saints who, you know, it's kind of like you want it. Tommy, what's the Buzzcocks song?
Why can't I touch it?
So why?
Yeah. I already said it.
Yeah, right.
Sing the whole thing.
Which I think that's perfect for this minute. I mean, we got the grail, we got the greedy lust, the one thing you can't. It's so Catholic. I love it. The one thing you want, you're clawing at it.
Now I can post that song on the Listeners Crusade. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
That'll be good.
Porter. Okay.
Yeah.
And today we're joined by a couple of cool cats, Joe Darowski from the Protagonist podcast and Andrew Darowski from the Disney Animation Minute Essentials. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you for having us on. Yeah. I'm Joe, just so your listeners can hear my voice and associate that with my name.
And I'm Andrew.
Cool. Yeah, welcome. And today we're going to be talking about minute 117. Minute 117 begins with Indy helping his dad to his feet, and it ends 60 seconds later with Indy holding on to Elsa while she eyes the grail lustfully.
Thank you, Pete.
That was on the fly.
Generous of you.
That was lovely. There's a little bit of Saint Moses the Ethiopian there. This minute starts with evil tuba. So I don't think it's going to go well. It does from the very beginning. I think it might be a tough minute here.
So some poor decisions may be looming.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, the tuba is always either like a poor decision or like bumbling or goofishness.
Or like somebody just presents you a cake.
Yeah.
Nobody's ever doing anything dexterous when the tuba plays.
No.
Right.
Although Elsa suddenly does something remarkably dexterous here as she kneels down looking very penitent and grasps the grail. Or that her face doesn't, but her pose does.
That's right. And I was going to say the word she genuflects.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
sure.
It's like a knight being knighted almost.
That's right. But did anybody else notice that she teleports next to the grail?
It crossed our minds.
Yeah, there's a minor miracle at play here in terms
She's
of...
just so pretty, it seems like she does that.
I mean, she was 10 feet behind Indy a minute ago.
Yeah.
And now she seems to be like 2 feet behind Henry.
Well, I guess the other question is, did the grail teleport to her? Because last we saw it, it was in Henry's hand. And now it is on the ground, a little ways away from them.
We were debating yesterday if there was something slightly anticlimactic. Well, we didn't even say, is this anticlimactic? Well, no, I guess we did say that. Jared asked me, it was a little anticlimactic, this moment with, getting the grail and everything. And, like Henry has finally beheld and held the Holy Grail that he's been searching for his entire life. And he's like, well, I gotta put my tie back on. I gotta, let's get out of here. Where's that?
See, I like, even though the guy's found enlightenment and serenity, he still has a good sense of decorum. Like, he's like, I need to put the tie on.
There's
I'm
a
gonna
lady
be
present.
respectful. Yeah.
But yeah, it's just sitting. It looks so strange to just have it sitting there on the floor like that. It's just
Like
Yeah.
upright and everything.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
think Henry would have
Lonely.
kept his hands on
Yeah,
it.
would Henry put that down?
I
But
guess.
see, I
so.
think it all goes to Henry came to the realization when he was, dying or dead or wherever he was, and he came back, that what's important is suddenly not the Grail itself. He already got what was important from it, and I think that's a huge transformation for him and for Indy.
And you know what?
When
It's
you-
like I'm complaining about this Henry moment from like yesterday and right now and stuff, but everything that you're saying, Pete, is totally going to pay off. I think in the next minute. I think after this, like that. Yeah,
No,
I think what you're saying is exactly going on, but it takes a couple of days or a couple of minutes depending how you're watching the movie.
Yeah.
for that to work out.
And I think
Most
it's
people
beautiful
probably just
'cause-
watch it one run, just straight through.
Yeah,
What are you talking
weirdos.
Well, you know
I
what?
don't follow.
I'll tell you this. Say what you will about Elsa with their, that it maybe she's using dark powers to teleport over to the Grail or whatever she is. I mean, she's a Nazi, but she is the only true archaeologist in this room cave because
That's
she
true.
actually handles the Grail with gloves.
Yeah, nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, she's
we
handling
had
everything
it-
with gloves, but that still counts. Yeah, I guess you're right.
it still counts. Yeah,
And it does kind of mirror Temple of Doom, because there we had Mola Ram teleporting himself kind of like Dalsim.
that's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Now with Henry, like we see him putting on his tie immediately. Do you think they made the decision to only unbutton the one button and show the wound area on his?
Well,
on
they
his...
unbuttoned like 4 buttons.
He's still very, very buttoned up, though, considering the wound that he just had. Was that just so Sean Connery didn't have to be sucking it in for very long? Just
Oh, maybe. That's pretty funny.
Is that like a weird scene?
It
He's
is.
putting his bow tie on.
That's the word for it. It's really weird. It's like they just like are getting out of a movie or something. It's like, oh, that was interesting. That was
It's
really
like
neat.
he's in a
Remember we found the
locker room.
Grail? Yeah.
Well, I mean, the way he's doing
took
it,
off
it's
my
like he
bow
just
tie.
got out of gym class.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
Or where do you want to get
weird.
lunch?
It is. Yeah, that is weird. And like Marcus just looks perplexed. It doesn't. It like their reactions right here. I think this is all sublime except for maybe some of these reactions right here. They're a little bit strange. to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, Marcus is the only one actually watching Elsa. And everyone else is just kind of like chatting and like, whatever. And like Marcus is like, is she supposed to be grabbing that?
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Is she walking off at that?
Hey, he's probably
somebody
sitting
say
there,
something?
who's that?
Yeah. Is she one of those ghost ladies that Indy told
You
me
know,
about?
speaking of Elsa, is Elsa the first woman to ever touch the Grail?
Maybe. Well, maybe before it became holy, it was like
Yeah.
the dishwashing lady at the inn.
did
Maybe.
Jesus' mom have it at any point there?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe,
Mary
yeah.
Magdalene.
I just noticed watching this, a minute at a time. I was just cycling through, and I noticed in the shot when Elsa is looking lustfully at the
when
cup,
she's genuflecting
and
and just
you
about
see
to
the
stand
knight
up.
in the background right there. I
Yeah,
had never
the
noticed
knight,
the
the
Yeah.
knight is right there on
Yeah.
the right side of the screen.
This is when he first shows
and,
up. Yeah.
and there's the statue of the knight over on the left, so she's framed by the two knights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
And this is weird
Like, did
because
he
now
want them
he's
out?
well, he's really close. He wasn't there in the last minute. Like I looked for him, and now he's not only there, but he's right next to Elsa almost. And in a minute
he's
he'll
like-
be
he's
far
like,
away.
Oh my gosh, that's scary. That's really
yeah, he's
weird.
right next. Is like right over her shoulder.
I've
And he's
seen
right
a
next
lot,
to the
and
Nazi.
I've never noticed how that he's there in this shot right here.
I never knew. That I thought the only time he comes back is like for a last moment.
A
later
little
on.
nod of I'm gonna die now.
Yeah, me too.
But he's right there.
And maybe
It's
that's
like,
what
Gosh.
maybe that's what got the Nazis to drop their guns. Is Sala says, "You can drop your guns," and they look around, and they see the knight there with his hand on his sword, and they're like,
Yeah. Like,
yeah, I think I will."
Maybe he just teleported right in, right at that
Yeah.
moment. More teleportation
Yeah.
happened. That's what freaked him out.
yeah,
Boy, that's super weird.
it is.
He's just standing
it's,
there.
It's another one of those things that you guys have pointed out time and time again throughout the Indiana Jones movies, where it's like if you're not paying attention, you don't realize that Tote's not really in the car. Or that there's a telephone pole sticking out of the bottom of that truck.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I don't think you're supposed to watch
There's a
movies
knight of the
like this.
Crusade.
Yeah,
The old knight
hanging
just standing there, just over her shoulder.
He wants to go to lunch too.
And then did she suddenly get like way far away again? Like Elsa is right next to them, picks up the grail, and then it seems like they have it framed like behind. No, I guess they show her walking. Never mind.
But it's a
It is
long
weird,
walk.
though.
She
The
covers a
whole-
lot of
She
ground.
gets pretty far.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I
all
know,
of the
that's
blocking
just
in this
more-
scene, it feels a little like something in the editing and the blocking, the continuity feels a little off.
Yeah. I mean,
the editing is really weird. She teleports all over that damn seal. She does. She
Yeah.
kind of. I don't know. She just. Did you guys know that the seal has the cruciform cross on it?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting? So did the Knights of the Cruciform Cross build this temple?
Okay,
Or did
I
they
have some
like
questions
did
about
they,
this.
are they
Joseph's
booby-trapped?
been teasing some questions to me about this.
So if
okay.
did the knights themselves, the buddies, did they build this across, like the one that's there just kept sprucing it up across millennia?
Yeah, and the other two were there for what, like
Yeah.
200 years?
Or did they have a whole bunch of people help build it, and then they're like, "Sorry guys, no one can know where this is. We're gonna need you all to die now."
They shove him off the cliff. Yeah.
or hey guys, I just need you to go grab something from the back room. That way, go that way. Right.
Right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, the
which
cruciform
reminds-
sword existed before this cave, didn't it? Or before the cruciform sword brethren? I mean, it seems like it's
I
just a
don't know.
symbol that they both use or something.
Yeah, I don't know because
Yeah, no, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, I don't know. And what's the knight thinking this whole time? Like, because he's standing there watching all this, and
He's like,
Like, why doesn't he say, don't cross the seal? Like Andy says, like, the knight said, don't cross the seal. He's right there.
maybe he's just thinking, I'm really tired, and
Yeah.
I knew this was gonna go this way.
You know what I would
also-
like him to say? I would like the knight to say, "Oh, by the way, I should have mentioned before, if it crosses the seal, the entire cave will crumble and collapse and stuff." I didn't mention that before. I just said that you wouldn't get eternal life.
Does the knight know that, or is that part of the whole mythology? And if it is, why isn't it mentioned? Because
Yeah,
they throw
that's a
the
good
knight
question.
throws it out like kind of like a. Oh, and remember.
that's a
And you're like, are you kidding me? That changes everything.
that's it. If you burn him, he'll come out of the collie blood.
Right.
Yeah.
But the other
But that's
thing,
the thing. Like,
exactly.
yes, he does just throw that out a few minutes ago. Like, oh, by the way, you can't leave here and have eternal life, or you can't. The Grail can't leave the cave.
And how does
But
he know that unless the knights built this?
But I'm saying the cave. He never says anything about like, oh yeah. Also, the other reason you shouldn't take it out of here is because you'll get crushed by falling rocks, and then the ground will open up and the cave will collapse on you.
But also, if he's I mean, I know he's a very probably holy man at this point, but if depending on his sexual preference, if he hasn't seen a woman in 850 years,
Oh,
he
yeah.
might just be a little bit like, huh.
That
Or
chainmail
even,
was
like,
ruined.
do you think he's like?
you think
did you
he's
guys
one
bring
of
any
them
food in with you?
St. John the
Yeah.
Long?
Do you have any jerky?
Sandwich.
Any?
Cracker. Yeah.
Well, what if he's actually the real St. John the Long Suffering? I don't know. Just
I
saying.
don't know either.
So this discussion of like whether or not the knights built this cave with all the booby traps and everything has also got me wondering. So I mean, it depends on whether or not they did. All the cups that are in there, all the fake cups,
Yeah.
were those there when the knights had to discover the Grail?
Or was he just passing the millennia? Like,
Or
I got a
did
couple
he just,
centuries here.
Did
I'm
he
gonna.
just set up a bunch of extra cups to make an extra test? He's like, this was
Yeah.
too easy when the three of us got here. I got to make this harder.
We only had 2 cups.
Gonna make them work for it. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
When the cave starts collapsing, I want to hear the that this is no cave music from Empire.
But it's interesting that Indy suddenly believes everything about the Grail. Like he went from believing nothing. I mean, maybe he's just seeing the power, the transformative power of it, but now he believes everything about it. Like
Better
he believes
stick to what the knights said.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It sounds very un-Indy like.
Yeah.
See, I wish
Yeah.
I wish the cave didn't start collapsing because it sounds like he's warning her because he knows that something like that is going to happen. But it'd be more interesting if he was freaking out because yeah, like if he just say, hey, the knight told us not to do that, so don't do that. Like, if he was just taking the whole thing very seriously and it wasn't just like a self-preservation thing or something.
Yeah.
Or if he was like, hey, wait, I drank out of that thing. I want to have eternal life. So don't.
What does Indy
Yeah.
expect to have happen by her crossing the seal?
I mean, all that we've been told is that the eternal life coupon will be nullified or something. So is he like, hey, wait, I want to see what it's like to live forever, so don't take the grail out of here.
I really don't want to do this alone.
Right.
Well, first of all, I want to know did the Chachapoyans build the Grail Temple?
No, it's another mirror of Raiders. Like it's an exact mirror of Raiders again.
No, you're absolutely right.
Yeah, it is.
But it is. It made me wonder. It starts to crumble in the same way, and I'm looking at it now, and there's dust and there's light pouring through and that sort of thing. But I also wondered, is it ironic or symbolic that the whole Grail Temple collapses and this way and falls apart because Jesus was a carpenter?
Like if it was made of wood, it would be fine. What do you say? I don't get it.
No. And I'm saying, like, if Jesus was a physician and you cross the seal, would everybody die of a heart attack?
And so
Or
it
if
has
he
to
was
be
like
like
a-
construction-based catastrophe.
Oh,
Exactly. It's got to be because he's a carpenter. It's like, everything fall. Exactly. Construction-based catastrophe.
that's weird.
Yeah.
No, they
That's a
say,
leap of faith.
which one of that's the cup of a carpenter. And it got me thinking, the whole thing, the whole demise, and the destruction. You're like, well, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, carpenters
build
destroy
things.
stuff. They build things so they can
No,
fall
but they
on
build
people.
them, but that's
I
it.
see what you're saying.
It's either ironic or symbolic.
No. You don't have to explain any more, Jerry. It makes total sense. I really like it. It's really, really good.
We're missing something. We just skipped something huge here, though. Is Elsa says, we have got it.
Yeah,
and then she says, it's
ours,
ours, yours, and mine. And I think,
specifically
it's
to
fascinating. Yeah, I think it's fascinating that she's, willing to share. But then why isn't she willing to share it with Henry? And would she be more sympathetic as a character if she had said, Henry, it's ours?
Oh,
Well, I'd
or
be
just
curious.
somehow
Like,
include both of
at
them.
this stage in the movie, like, what is Elsa's motivation? Like, you've been talking a lot throughout the entire movie about, like, Elsa just doesn't work the same way that the other female leads have. And so in this moment, what are you getting at with her, where she says, like, it's ours, like she was always after the Grail for archaeology, or like now it's ours so we'll have riches? Like, what, like, she's gonna walk out with the Grail and then what?
Yeah.
What does she get?
I'm calling bullwhip on all this you, me, and the Grail makes 3 business.
Really?
This is just really weird. Like, now all of a sudden Elsa wants to live happily ever after with Indy. Like, how's that going to work? The Grail's just going to be on the mantle over the fireplace? And I don't like this. I feel emotionally manipulated here. Mm-hmm. Like, again, I'm supposed to care about... How am I supposed to feel about Elsa here?
See, yeah,
Like, okay, I guess she killed Donovan. Maybe. I mean, it that was fairly
No, there's no
clear.
maybe. She killed Donovan.
Yeah, she
No,
totally
I
killed
know,
him.
but if you only watch the movie once, you kind of are just putting that together, possibly. And even if she does, so now she's in love with Indy, and she and Indy are supposed to live happily ever after. No, we got it, Indy.
Well, see, I've been saying for a long time, I don't think that is something that we haven't gotten from the movie. Like, I think it's very possible that she has been in love with Indy the entire time.
If this hadn't been the first draft of the screenplay, seemingly, it would have made more sense. You would have gotten, like, yeah, I think, Pete, it sounds like you got more that she actually, I mean, she's been conflicted this whole time. Like, since Berlin, she's been conflicted and like, oh gosh, there's death and destruction. Maybe I shouldn't be a Nazi. Maybe I should just settle down with one of the Jones boys or something. And so, like, now, like, I want to be able to read this moment of like, hey, I got the Grail. It's yours and mine. We can go have this together, as sort of like her last ditch, like, oh, Indy, like, I'm on your side. Look how I'm on your side. I'm going to share this with you. Like, I really want to be good. I want to be with you. I want to, I'm turning my back on the Nazis, or, I feel like it could make more sense. You could get more like what she's trying to do if she had made a little more sense up until now.
Why doesn't she choose Henry, though? Because at this point, like, they're both like at least 25 years older than she is. So, but at this point, Henry's the one that's going to live longer. So maybe she should have chosen Henry.
Henry's the one who's going to live longer. Well, Pete, I think you did a great job explaining why Elsa really is in love with Henry. So that's, again, why, I feel somewhat manipulated here. That she's like, no, Indy, you and I can live happily ever after. And I kind of feel like, wait a minute, do we just need to go down and be funneled into like, no, our hero needs to have a woman who loves him.
Yeah.
Like, is it just like, what's wrong with Elsa saying like, I'm out of here, suckers,
Right.
and taking off?
Yeah,
Like, you
well,
know,
and that's what her actions say, because she picks up the cup and she starts walking away from the person she's about. Like, she's 10 feet, 15 feet away from him, and says
up.
like, "Indy,
Yeah.
come on, we
You
got
stay
it.
there.
Like, what are you gonna leave everyone else? Like, what are you doing? Just like go stand next to Indy if that's what you're
Is
feeling."
this just self-serving as a way to make sure she doesn't get shot? Because she might, like, Indy might be joining her, so no one's going to shoot her at that
Yeah,
moment.
maybe.
well, so is this another ploy?
No, I don't think it is. I think
You know,
I think she genuinely thinks she wants to share this with somebody.
but
But she's walking away with it.
Yeah.
While she's
And
saying,
yeah, I
come,
mean, it's just-
like, you
it's
come
just
to
really
me.
weird. Like-
Henry's been standing up for 10 seconds.
Well, you
And
know
the
what?
whole
This is making
thing
me
is,
think
it's-
that this was making me think that Marcus actually comes in really handy, because we've bent over backwards trying to explain his actions, and we usually just kind of come up with, well, he's nuts. And I want to, from now, like since last minute, I'm starting to think, oh, maybe she's cracked. She's actually cracked and she's nuts because like a guy just dissolved in front of her a few minutes ago and left nothing but a Nazi pin. And she's like, and she's gone berserk now. And she's kind of like, I got the grail. I'm going to marry Indiana Jones. That's going to be great.
but
I think that might be the best possible reading of this scenario.
I'm a pretty lady.
the whole thing is Henry's quest.
But Henry got
Yeah.
what he wanted, and it turns out that it wasn't the cup. It was what
Yeah,
the cup
but Elsa
represented.
doesn't know that.
Getting a
No,
massive bullet
the
wound
Holy
healed.
Grail was the relationship with his son the whole time. He just never knew it.
See.
Yeah.
Yeah,
also,
but I
also
mean,
getting a large bullet wound healed.
Right.
Yes.
That helped.
The little
the hardest part of
Alka-Seltzer-
fatherhood.
Alka-Seltzer
it's
spill
just
there.
none of this makes sense. I mean, she's just like, come on, Indy. Like, well, I mean, what? What?
No
Why
one's
do you
saying
think
it
you're going
makes
to
sense,
back
Jerry.
away?
Yeah.
It's possible they just needed someone to carry it across the seal to get to some cool special
Yeah.
effects.
Maybe.
The way the way they just left it on the floor, somebody could have accidentally kicked it across the thing. Where's my tie? Whoops.
Whoa!
Well, no, I was thinking about this. Like, what if she had just like done a Joe Namath and thrown it outside the door? Like from there, if she just winged it as far as she could.
Oh yeah, it's a good question. Yeah, that probably
She's
worked
like,
out
Indy,
fine.
go long.
Yeah,
I think it's funny that of all the people you chose Joe Namath.
he's one of those sports people, right?
Yeah.
Who would you have
Well,
gone with, Jerry?
Yeah. Steve Young,
Who's that? That would.
Joe Montana.
Steve Young's a good choice. We live in Utah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, I mean, being from Cleveland, it'd be Bernie Kosar.
Oh, Bernie Kosar would have fumbled it. He wouldn't have thrown it outside the thing.
Oh.
That's what we have here.
Might as well have had Marcus
Thank
throw
you
it.
for any Cleveland quarterback you chose.
At second 36, I'm just gonna say it.
Okay.
Second 36. I've never seen anyone so beautiful drop the cup of Christ.
Aw, that's true.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
You're not
yeah,
wrong, Jerry.
Elsa. Like, I think this is Elsa's most beautiful moment.
She's a huge clod,
Yeah.
but she's really pretty.
Yeah.
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 She cannot
Maybe
hold
I'm
on to a
just,
girl to
I'm
save her
not.
life.
I'm attracted to women who are cracked.
Yeah, anybody who you can hold on to something better than they can, you find them attractive. You feel like you can bring something to the relationship. I understand.
This
I do want to say, looking at this minute by minute, when you really zero in, I really noticed that her fall is not the greatest fall in cinema history when she falls down and
does
drops the cup.
it's kind of a
looks
Star
like
Trek
a fall
fall.
meant to knock a cup out of the way.
Yeah.
But I've got so when we were talking about Raiders, one of the things that blew me away was when we found out that when they opened the lid of the Ark, it's Ben Burt sliding the lid of a toilet seat, like the porcelain toilet seat that makes that
Yeah.
sound.
Oh, man.
And that when the floor starts to break apart, that sound is somebody rubbing a balloon. And if you know that, now when you listen to it, it sounds exactly like somebody rubbing a balloon.
That's hysterical.
So
my God.
when the ground does start to crack, besides the sound effects, which we now know are balloon, what did you guys think of the reaction shots, the close-ups that Harrison Ford and Sean Connery get in that moment?
It's I don't know. They're a little stagey. It's a little bit like in Superman the movie when Krypton is falling apart. and all these British stage actors going, "Oh my goodness! Oh, look out!"
There's someone off screen yelling, "It's shaking!
Oh, no.
It's shaking!"
Yeah.
It's troublesome.
Well, and the knight has walked back up the stairs a ways, like because he was standing on the floor, and now he's back about halfway up the stairs.
They're not going to invite me.
Or this is gonna go
I'm out of here.
I can see where this is going now.
No one listens.
You know what's really interesting is there's one Nazi who gets caught on the other side of the chasm.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the knight's side, and I want to know like what
On the good
happens to
side.
that guy.
He and the knight live happily
Like
ever
what
after.
what if you're in the Grail room but you don't drink, or if the Grail isn't even there?
Well,
What if he he just figures, he looks down, he sees the Grail, 40 feet down. He's like, I'm going to die anyway. I might as well try and see if there's a dragon there that in my last dying gasp, I can take a sip and then crawl my way back up.
Well, also the knight can, if he's impervious to this kind of stuff, he could just crawl down and get it. Like he could just take some of those ropes from the saw and crawl down.
Yeah,
He's had a
back
string
on duty.
attached to it the
Gotta
whole
go
time.
set this back in the room.
I've got to say, this, like, the entire room breaking apart, that's a heck of a set. And I want to know what the reset is like if they don't get it on that take. What is it just to reassemble that entire floor and make it look like it's not broken and do it again?
Oh, man.
But, like, it's great. I mean, part of it shoots up like 6 feet.
Yeah.
It is pretty. I guess I was just gonna say before we. I mean, I love that set bringing apart. But talking about the sound when the cup falls, have you guys talked about what this Grail is actually made of at this point? Because it has kind of like a ceramic sound effect is added when the cup is skittering across the ground.
I honestly cannot remember if we talked about that or not.
I don't think we have.
Because I have a lot of questions about that. I always thought that it was. He said, like when he says it's the cup of a carpenter, I was like, oh, it's a wooden cup. Like,
but it sure doesn't look wooden on the inside.
No, but I mean, I don't know. No, you're right. Like, so
they
is it like a clay thing or something?
Although a carpenter would have been in the ancient Near East wouldn't have been a rich guy. He would have been a poor guy. So it could have just meant it was a humble cup.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute. Wait. Hang on.
But it doesn't break when it goes across the floor. So what's it made out of?
Right.
And also, if you have a cup and you have a humble guy's cup, and the inside of the cup is gilded, and then you're A, I don't know if that's a humble guy's cup, and B, if you're drinking out of that, aren't you going to be like get metal poisoning?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Gold
especially
poisoning?
for the mark of it being humility. Like, oh, this one's the cup of the carpenter. Why is the inside gold? Why?
Yeah. Why is it?
Well, the knight
gold?
might have done that.
Yeah.
That could have been
Well,
the
again,
knight's addition.
or it's like, the inn. It's like that's the cup
bronzing
of
the
the
baby
inn
shoes.
that a carpenter would go to. It's not Jesus's personal property. It's belongs to the inn. I think we had this conversation already.
Yeah. No, that's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
Yeah,
Good point.
He didn't bring his own cup.
Yeah. Like
Question
Jared
for
does.
I do like
Pete.
the image of the knight like 300 years in and like, I'm painting it. I'm so tired of looking at that
I
thing.
can't stare at that thing anymore.
Well, it's like he never got to bronze the baby shoes. It's like the next best thing. Oh, I'm gonna gild the cup.
Yeah, he was just saying, God, what am I going to do with all this gold?
That sounds like a euphemism though, if I ever heard one. Oh, I'm just gilding the cup.
Yep. You would, you pervert.
Yeah, come on, you Moses of Ethiopia. keep it chill there, Peter. I have a question for you, actually.
For me?
Speaking of lust, yeah, for you, Pete. Right here and next minute too. This minute and next minute, Elsa has her own tail before Grail, or actually Grail before tail moment. So, basically she has this beautiful life with Indiana Jones or the Holy Grail. And here she has to choose. And so I'm asking you, Pete, could she be happy with Indiana Jones if she actually didn't have the Grail?
No.
Or just their entire relationship she'd be pissed at him like their whole life. Like, I could have had it.
Yeah.
I could have had it, Indy.
Because that's what she really wants is the Grail. And it's like if she's always, for the rest of her life, she's going to be bitter and resentful towards Indy because I could have had it. I could have had it.
Yeah.
If you just,
So you don't think
if
it's
your arm
possible
were
for
an
them
inch
to
longer.
Yeah, even though she...
Your stumpy arms.
Do you see this gray hair? Do you see it?
Do you agree, guys? You think that's she never would have been happy with Indy after this? Like she would once the Grail's gone, it's not possible for her to live happily ever after with Indiana
Yeah, I'm on
Jones.
board with that.
Well, I also think, long term, do any of us want to see Indy with a Nazi?
No.
Like, is that his happily ever after?
That'd be awkward.
Yeah.
This would be weird.
Yeah.
Indy with a nun would have been awkward too if we'd gone with the first draft.
Yeah, it would have gone that way.
But just like you're saying, like, Indy, another inch and I could have had it. He could just like look at her and say, "You were a Nazi." We start bringing up the past.
Don't talk to me about my arms, you Nazi. Indy, do the dishes. Nah, you're a Nazi.
I can't do the dishes. My arm's not long enough. So these Germans that jump over the chasm, do you think they run right home and tell Hitler what happened? Like, do you think that, and he'll be like Colonel Klink and just like in a rage and smash his hat?
Just Jones.
Well, it's like that Hitler meme. They go and report, and it's him grabbing his glasses
There
with his
probably
fingers
is one
shaking.
about Indiana Jones somewhere.
There must be.
We don't see anybody other than our heroes leave, though, in a few minutes, do we?
Well, we see them run. We see these guys run out.
I think that everybody who's in this cave and has witnessed this, if you survive, you're transformed.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're turning over a
I
new
think
leaf.
they come exactly. I don't think
They have the classic Nazi realization: we might be the baddies.
yeah,
Yeah,
They're going home to become conscientious objectors.
totally. Yeah.
The stunt work of Indy sliding down that piece of floor to get to Elsa, that's primo stunt work.
Yeah,
That's good.
yeah.
Looks
Yeah.
painful.
You know,
Like,
it
the
reminded me
timing
a
is
little
good.
bit
He
of,
gets the hand just in time. It's good stuff.
He does that same kind of leap and jump and slide. Remember on the boat in Venice.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's right.
Yeah, that was
Off
really
the
good.
Yeah.
back, yeah. It's like a perfectly executed, like, oh my God, slide.
He would have been
It's a signature move.
He would have been great at curling.
Well, speaking of great at curling.
Oh,
Oh, she has curly hair. Boop, 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 boop.
Yeah, it's coming over. Yeah, exactly. Thanks for grabbing that, Tommy.
you.
This just in from Professor Christy Porter. Why do I have so much spit in my mouth?
You often have a lot of spit in your mouth.
wait, was that you saying that, or is that Professor Christy Porter?
I don't see what that has to do with the minute, but she's right.
Next.
This whole episode, it's like I can't talk. I'm that guy whose mouth is just covered in saliva.
You're like the Grail. It doesn't. The water never leaves your mouth.
Yeah.
Let me swallow first.
Okay.
Ugh.
All right. So this just in from Professor Christy Porter. Don't make a loop of that phrase. Does the flower on the seal represent danger to Elsa? Because it looks like an amaryllis to me. Look it up for symbolism, fellas.
We got to do homework on this
I don't know
show.
what an amaryllis means.
I think we all. I'm sorry, but I think we all have a little bit of homework here.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, look up
Amaryllis
the
flower.
There's a flower on the seal there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Of all
It's the
flowers.
only genus of the subtribe Amaryllidae,
Yeah.
guys. I think we all know that.
it's Latin
off the
for
top of our
Elsa
head.
is screwed. Yeah.
It's Latin.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Of all
Small
flowering
genus of
bulbs,
flowering bulbs. Yeah.
amaryllis are the easiest to bring to bloom.
Oh.
Wonder if that means something.
Maybe.
The hell is she getting at?
Yeah.
I don't understand this professor.
She's always 10
I think
steps
there's. I
ahead of
think
us.
somewhere in there I smell a Greek myth or something.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's one of those
Okay.
things. Yeah.
Yeah.
According
Yeah,
to Greek
probably.
mythology, the amaryllis
Yeah.
originated from the love Amaryllis had for Alteo. I'm just pulling this from my head, guys. This is just off the cuff.
Is it like the yin to Narcissus's yang?
Let's see. Oh,
almost
I've lost
there.
it. Sorry,
We're
I had to
almost
click
there.
the link. And just searching the recesses of my mind here. Amaryllis, a maiden, fell in love with the shepherd Alteo. He was strong and handsome and had a passion for flowers. To learn how to win his affection, Amaryllis went to the Oracle of Delphi for advice. On the Oracle's order, she stood in front of Alteo's house for 30 nights, piercing her heart with a golden arrow. Bold move.
Wow.
Full declaration there.
You know, and in the modern days, we talk about a boombox.
On the 30th night, a beautiful flower grew from her blood and helped her win Alteo's love. That is coming from, let's see, ftd.com, Amaryllis Meaning and Symbolism.
Well, that actually might be relevant in the next couple of minutes when we're going to be asking, does Elsa survive? So
I just have to think the Oracle's going to give it a better way for her to show her affection
than piercing your own heart for 30 days.
It's a little dramatic.
With a golden arrow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dr. Porter. And thank you, gentlemen, Joe and Andrew. This was fun.
Yeah. Indiana Jones. It's worth talking about.
And you guys both have cool podcasts. You want to talk about those for a minute?
Yeah, I co-host the Protagonist podcast, and we actually had Pete come on to talk about this very film in our episode number 142. On the Protagonist podcast, we talk about a great character and a great story every week, and we vary it. One week we might be talking about an ancient Greek story. The next week we'll be talking about a comic book superhero. The next week a blockbuster film. We just try and mix it all up from week to week, but just with the goal of talking about great characters, great stories, and why these characters resonate with us.
And I am the producer on that show, so I'm there every week too. But I also make Disney Animation Minute Essentials with my wife. We do the same thing you guys do, except we do it to Disney movies.
And you're starting a new one soon, right?
Yeah, we got interrupted by the birth of a child. It really dug into our podcasting time.
Babies. No excuse.
Yeah, we did Snow White, and then we were working on Little Mermaid, and then the baby got in the way.
Okay.
and
Wow.
and that'll come out eventually.
Yeah. Partially recorded season of Little Mermaid is in the can.
Yeah, it's partially prepared to go. No, I before we go, guys, I have a question. I just want to hear each of you answer.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah.
You guys have been through, the movies that have it. For each of you, what is like the Indiana Jonesest thing that Indiana Jones ever did?
Oh, wow.
Out of the three movies. Like, pick the one thing that he did and you're like, that is the most Indiana Jones moment ever.
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
The first thing I think of is him. I don't know if this is actually the right answer to this question, but it might work. When he goes under the truck, comes back around, and just like dives feet first into the guy's face, the driver of the truck, the balding truck driver, and just wails on him, and just not even hello or anything. Just like dives in with his feet, clobbers the guy
into the dashboard.
just over and over into the dashboard, and then just chucks him out of there. He's so furious and so angry and so righteously, just in a frenzy. That there's something kind of great about that. It's very satisfying.
Well, see, mine is also a destructive moment for me. I think it would have been when he swings the Anubis into the wall.
Oh, sure.
In the
That's great.
Because he's got everything. It's got him destroying a temple to get, it's got him using some daring do, making things up as he goes along.
He's got him being creative, like in a creative
But he's not punching a Nazi, so
he's not punching a Nazi. That's true.
That's true.
I would say, for me, it's in the famous shot where he's about to pick up the idol, and he pauses and he stares and he looks at it and he rubs his hand over his like 7 o'clock shadow, just because it's like everything about him at that moment. First of all, it's the very beginning of the movie, so you're just automatically really excited. You're like, oh man, the movie just started. This is great. Like, I'm gonna watch this. This is amazing.
Yeah.
And also just the way he looks there. It's like he's dusty. He's actually, I know he steals it and all that, but you're still thinking of him as like, oh, he's an archaeologist and he bolted from school. He doesn't care about college. He's like in the middle of, he's in the middle of the South American jungle. And he stops to stare at it, and he's like, man, that's it. And then just the fact that he hasn't shaved in days is just, I'm like, that's it. That's it for me.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, another great part about defining Indiana Jones with that moment is that he almost gets it right, but he gets it wrong.
No, you're right. Yeah.
That is a key Indiana Jones thing.
It is, and that's great. I completely identify with that.
Well, how about you two guys?
He has to run.
Joseph, you go first.
I mean, the iconic image that you can't shake for Indiana Jones is him running away from a boulder. I mean,
yeah.
I kind of hate that image, though.
But when you think, I think for the average person, when you say Indiana Jones, that's probably what's going to come through their mind. And some of that
just feels so hokey, and I feel like Indiana Jones isn't hokey.
Well, I don't know. I think it's also great because it's again, he's just barely surviving something that he kind of did to himself, and that is one thing I love about Indiana Jones.
That is Indy. For me, I mean, I'm kind of tempted to pick something from Indy versus the Tank in this movie. Everything else has been Raiders, and I mean, you can't really go wrong with Raiders.
Mm-hmm.
True.
I mean, in Raiders, like even just shooting the swordsman, that's classic Indy.
Oh yeah.
But I think Indy versus the Tank here, and possibly when he's like dangling by his bag strap from the turret that he blew up, and he's stuck there, and it doesn't really make any sense. But it's like, but the intensity's there.
That whole sequence for me is one of the high points for this movie. Like this movie, I understand it's a bit uneven at times, and tonally it can be a bit all over the place. But when Spielberg wants to bring his A game to an action sequence, he's got it.
Yeah, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah, and I think the actual answer, if we're not going with Indiana Jones, is the iconic moment of all these movies would be the gentleman with the stamp in the library. I think we can all agree on that.
You mean Professor Einstein?
Yes.
You're trying to incite violence, Pete.
Yeah.
What'd you say? The curse with the worst? That's me.
Yeah, the perverse curse for the worst.
Yeah, the perverse curse with the worst. And talking about babies interrupting podcasts, let's see which of us three interrupts the podcast tomorrow for minute 118 of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade here on the Indiana Jones Minute.